That's how I feel right now. Hi, everyone. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Was That TMI? I'm your host, Sadie, and as you can tell, it sounds like there is a frog in my throat. I have come down with a little sickness. This is not new for us here. I get sick literally, I would say 12 times a year. Like, I'm not kidding. Maybe not 12, but I would say at least 8. I'm going to give myself 8 months out of the year. I will wind up sick, whether it's a little cold, a little virus, if I have the flu, if I have strep, if I have a little stomach thing. I think I might get COVID a lot. I'm not going to lie. Like, there's been so many times where I'm sick and I feel like my symptoms are COVID symptoms, but then I also feel like COVID symptoms are literally just every sickness symptoms ever. So I don't really know. I'm not huge on going to the doctor and finding out what I have. I kind of just am like, I'm going to get over it myself. And we all get sick at times. Sometimes I don't trust the doctor. Oh my God, that's terrible. Either way, I've just felt a little bit run down under the weather. Well, this happened on Friday when I woke up. I just kind of had like a sore throat. And if you guys listened to last week's episode, this is my last week in Georgia. As you can tell, literally there is nothing in my living room. I sold the carpet. This carpet's from my room. I sold my couch. I sold my coffee table, my TV. I sold the 2 chairs I had bought when I first moved in. All I have left is my mattress on the floor, this rug, and a dresser. I need to sell them still. So if you live in North Atlanta, hit me up. But yeah, I woke up Friday morning. I didn't feel too hot. It's my last weekend in Georgia. I went out with my friends that night just because my best friend Delaney, she was having a birthday party for her dog Miso. I think I talked about Delaney literally last week, but I would go with Delaney to her little dog's training. She had just gotten a new puppy and she was having his first birthday party. So I stopped by, I came home, I got some chicken noodle soup. I just went to bed early. And when I tell you everything happens for a reason, everything happens for a reason. And when I tell you, if you're asking God for signs and he's blatantly putting them in front of your face, just listen to them. You guys, I'm giving you some lore really quickly before we start this episode. Obviously, I'm an open book with y'all and I tell you guys everything. Well, when it comes to my love life, I will say I keep a little bit of it private just for this forsaken fact of that's what I get for screaming my man too loud. You know what I mean? It just never really works out. So I've spoke with you guys a little bit about virtual boy, Mr. AI. Okay, we're going to go over to Mr. AI really quick. Well, I've asked God for signs about Mr. AI plenty of times. And the reason I'm even asking is because I already know this guy fucking sucks. Okay, this guy's not a nice dude. He's not like, I'm not going to date him. I don't plan on marrying him. What's the point of even like entertaining him trying to get with me, right? I have planned to meet Mr. AI numerous amounts of times and something always happens. It's either he's not putting in enough effort for my liking, so I'm like, yeah, no, not gonna happen. Or I'm not gonna lie, I pussy out, I get too scared. Another time I wound up sick. This time again, I was gonna go meet Mr. AI this week before I move, and what happened? I come down with like strep throat or whatever I might have. So Mr. AI is done. I thought I was reaching like the climax of my situationship, but I fear this was the falling action and the resolution is me blocking. So Mr. AI is no longer on the roster and that means the bench is unfortunately cleared. So good for you guys. You don't have to hear me yap about the men anymore. But yeah, just take signs from God when he gives you them because I'm not kidding. He literally is like blatantly put in front of my face so many times like, babe, no, like you already know this is a no-go. And I think that's why I'm sick right now. I can't even lie. I really do. I was like, I need to sit down. I need to record a pod. Today's the first day I'm feeling a little bit less sick. So I was like, I'm going to come and talk to you guys about some things. But I didn't have too much of like an eventful week other than I feel like when you're moving, life gets like put on pause for a second. Like when I first moved up here, it was my first time like moving out like that. And I feel like a whole month of my life was literally just like a blur because you have to do so much. You have to pack, you have to like set into a new place. Then you have to think about like, okay, I need to go get groceries. Okay. Like I need to like figure my way around the town. Like, you know what I mean? It was just like so much all at once. So life's kind of a blur right now, but I actually put on my story of Was That TMI? on Instagram. Go give her a follow. You guys get the visual pictures of stories I tell. That's cool. I literally have an eye booger. I put on there and I was like, hey guys, like bring up any topics you want me to talk about on Was That TMI, like anything you want, whatever. And I found it super ironic because you guys were literally putting topics in that have been circling my mind so much. Last night, I was scrolling on TikTok because that's what I do at night. It's what we all do at night, I hope. I'm not alone in that. And I came across a video, and the sound of the video was Getting Older by Billie Eilish. Like, I'm getting older, got more on my shoulders, whatever. I was listening to the lyrics of the song a lot. My mom bought me a record player 2 Christmases ago, or maybe it was for my birthday. I'm not exactly sure. And she got me a Billie Eilish record because me and her just both love Billie Eilish. And that song would come on and I really liked the beat of it, 'cause it's like dun, 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 like it's just a catchy beat. But I was listening to the words more and more and I was like, okay, this is like such a relatable song. And weirdly enough, like I said, when I went on my TMI topics, let me just read some out to you. This girl said, how do you figure out what to do after college? This girl said, feeling lonely after being single for so long and the fear that you'll never find someone. This girl said, how to enjoy life while going through a breakup. This person said, dealing with sadness and how to build self-esteem. This person said, finding new friends and how to do that while being somewhat introverted. The next person said, how to not run away from your own life, also while chasing your dreams. And I'm not kidding, y'all. I've told you guys sometimes when I make YouTube videos, I do plan them out a little bit strategically or not strategically, but I will sit down and like kind of creatively make a storyline. And obviously me moving again, I'm like, okay, let's make this as dramatic as possible. There's gonna be a little storyline behind it and a message behind it. And I think the biggest message was like how I constantly am running away, or I constantly want to run away. But no matter how far you run, you can never escape yourself. I came across that quote. I think it's such a relatable thing. Obviously, me moving right now, it does bring those emotions of like, I'm living in an area where I have people from my hometown. It's a lot of like familiar people I know. But even with these people around me, I still feel lonely and like I don't belong here. And the feeling of running away feels like it's going to solve your issue. But no matter where you get, you still can have those feelings if you're kind of wired like that. Like I think I've just have been wired like that as a human since I was little, that I am more emotional and I feel more lost and feel more lonely than others. Everyone feels that way at times, but I feel like it's like, I feel like I was born with it. Like I feel like I was born feeling that way. Like at 13 years old, why did I feel that way? You're 13. You should be thinking about like what time the bus is picking you up, not, oh, like, I don't like myself. Like, I don't like myself. I want to run away. Like, it's just weird. And in the song, she says, things I'm longing for, someday I'll be bored of. And this ties into almost like all the topics that I read out at the beginning, because whatever you need in your life, whether it's, oh, I just wish I had friends, or, okay, I've literally been single for over a year and I don't like any guys and I would be happy if I could find a boyfriend. Like that's what would do it for me. Or if it's, I just want to leave my hometown. Like if I can get the hell out of my hometown, I'll be happy. Or if it's, okay, I hate my job. If I could be doing something else, I'll be more happy. Biggest thing is, one, your current situation is temporary. It's not forever. You're going to deal with new problems. You're going to deal with new positives. Like you're going to deal with negatives and you're going to deal with positives. Life will throw curveballs at you, good and bad. So whatever you're dealing with right now, it's going to change over time, or whatever. If you're super happy right now and everything's perfect, that can change over time. Maybe you'll be happy for the rest of your life, but things are going to come in and confuse you and be weird. Like just your current situation is temporary. The biggest thing I've tried to explain to people over time, and the biggest thing that I've learned with doing this online, or even just things I want in life, like I'm not gonna lie, even when I had a boyfriend, it was like I didn't really care to have one. Like I wasn't longing for that, but I got this boyfriend, and like The first 2 months, it was magic. It felt amazing. And I was like, oh my God, I can literally have this for the rest of my life. And I don't even care what else happens. Like, as long as I have this person, y'all, I was fucking like fairy tale movie in love. Like, that was literally, I'm not going to lie. I'm grateful for what I thought my first love was, because it was that like young, I've never felt this way before, what's going on type of love. But then time passes, and once you're used to it, it's not that it necessarily gets boring, but it's kind of like there's something else you think you need. When I had a boyfriend, I was like, I don't have any friends. Yeah, I have you, but like I don't have any friends outside of that. Like I don't have a life outside of like just what we are. So it's like I longed for that. But then let's say you're then single and you have some friends. You're like, oh wait, but like I want a boyfriend. Or even career-wise, you're striving and striving and striving for this career you really want, and then you get it. And it's kind of like, okay, cool. It's awesome for a period of time, but then after a while you're like, oh wait, I'm missing so-and-so, or I'm missing this puzzle piece to make it all complete. You're never going to find all the pieces for your puzzle if you're always longing for more. And it's so hard as human beings, I think, to not do that, because we always do think that something else will solve our problems. But nothing really will. No matter where you put me, I'm still going to deal with hardships and my own emotions, whatever it might be. I don't want to like preach to people who don't necessarily want to hear it or care to believe about that or whatever. But for me, when I was younger and I was really sad and I wanted this to work out super bad, I didn't even want to fight for it. And I feel like the push was God kind of being like, do it, go for it. Like, you got it, whatever. Let me answer this. Hello. Hello. Are you okay? Oh my God, you scared the shit out of me. Because I could barely hear you and it sounded like you were crying, and I couldn't deal with that right now. Sandy? Let me call you back. Sandy. Basically, the point I'm trying to make is, for me, when I would deal with this, or when I do deal with this and I'm longing for more, like, it's probably obvious to you guys. Do I necessarily want a boyfriend? Honestly, I don't know. But when you are single and you're in your 20s or whatever, yeah, you are kind of thinking about that. And if you're not, I applaud you. I will literally stand up and clap for you, because it's hard for me to not think about like guys or men or whatever. But realistically, when a guy comes into my life and then I have a boyfriend, I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, I kind of want to be single. Like, I genuinely feel that way. And so it's just like, you can always want more. And the only time I have peace in my mind about things like this, friendships, about not knowing if I'm where I'm supposed to be, if, oh, like, what? I kind of want a boyfriend. I'm kind of lonely. Oh, I miss my family. Maybe I should move back home. But then if I move back home, I'm more lonely. Whatever it might be, when I sit down and I pray, or I go on my little Bible app, you guys can download it. It's called #Bible. There's little verses on it. It will explain them to you as well. I think it's like $3 a month, but I'm telling you it's worth it, because a quote I need always comes up. When I do those things, it helps me with these issues. And that is like the biggest or the best way I can necessarily explain it to you guys. And I know some of you might not be believers or might not really know what that even means to like follow God. Personally, I don't really even know. I just know what I do and that he's there for me. And so it's just like, I just share that information with y'all. But even my friend the other night, he called me and he was kind of like going through something and feeling lonely and kind of feeling like a part of his life was missing. And I was like, dude, do you have that devotion, Jesus Calling? Which Jesus Calling is basically like a 365-day book where you can flip open to a page of the day and it reads a devotion for that day. And I'm just curious to see what today's is. Let's see. I'm going to look it up, because you can look it up online too. All right. January 28th. I am always with you. These were the last words I spoke before ascending into heaven. I continue to proclaim this to promise to all who will listen. People respond to my continual presence in various ways. Most Christians accept this teaching as truth but ignore it in their daily living. Some ill-taught or wounded believers fear my awareness of all they do and think. A few people center their lives around this glorious promise and find themselves blessed beyond all expectations. When my presence is the focal point of your consciousness, all the pieces, I was just talking about a puzzle, All the pieces of your life will fall into place. As you gaze at me through the eyes of your heart, you can see the world around you from my perspective. The fact that I am with you makes every moment of your life meaningful. Oh, that was so perfect for what we were just talking about. Do you guys see what I mean? Like, it's just, I do believe that there is something bigger than us on this earth. And that is honestly what keeps me going, because if my purpose was just to serve myself constantly, oh my God, it literally, I'm like, oh, like, I hate this. It's not meaningful to me. Like, I think that's why I've always yearned to have children, because I'm like, I want something here that is bigger than me and means more than me, and something that like I have to care about more than myself. And sometimes I feel that way about you guys. Like, I'm like, okay, maybe I don't want to be here for myself, but I want to be here for some of you guys. And like, I don't know, just when I get closer to God, or when I have moments where I feel all these things and feel meaningless, or I don't have purpose, or I can't be happy, I'm just like, but you know what? God has me here for a reason, whether I know what it is or I don't, and he's going to lead me along the way to figure these things out. So I don't know if that kind of got like twisted down a path that we weren't going down, but yeah, I just thought when I glanced at the TMI topics that you guys were putting in, you know, like I can sit down and say, oh, like when you're single, well, guess what? Like you can go party and whatever. And like, yes, those are the benefits to me for being single, is I can go out and not have to worry about anyone like thinking about me, questioning what I'm doing, whatever. And I just can like live for me. But then you still wake up on Sunday morning and you're like, wait, I kind of want someone to like hang out with and be with me and cook dinner with me. So it's like, the biggest way I just view it as, take your situation and live through it. Just live through it and try and make it the best as possible. Like even me living here, I called my parents like 3 weeks ago before I fully decided to move. It came out of nowhere. I was honestly going to extend my lease long. I'm actually canceling it and I have to pay an extra month's rent. So I'm going a little balls to the walls for this. But I called my parents and I was just crying and I was like, you know, I live here, but I'm in such a different situation than all of my friends and it feels lonely and whatever. And my mom was kind of like, well, you know, you don't have a boyfriend. So when most of your friends have boyfriends, yeah, it's a weird feeling and whatever. And I was like, but I don't really want a boyfriend. I'm not really sitting here like, oh, if I had a boyfriend to come over and hang out with, like, I don't really want a guy to come over here and hang out with me. And my dad was in the background. He was like, if you don't like your situation, change it. Like, he was like, nothing's going to change with you staying there. So if you don't want to be there and you want to do something else, leave. Like, you have to make a change. And it is true. Like, I was sitting here and I was like, okay, if I want difference, if I don't want to keep feeling this way, and if I want to make a change, I have to do it. And whether that's staying here and trying to like reroute my mind to be like, you know what, who cares if I'm lonely at times? Like, I have myself and I might get sad, but like, you have to pick yourself back up and deal with it and keep rolling with the punches. And I was also like, you know what, I can move and I'll try something new. And if I still feel that way when I'm moving, I still have to pick myself up and keep rolling with the punches. It's about just like forcing yourself to keep going. And when you do that, you become proud of yourself and you look in the mirror and you're like, hell yeah, like we did that. You know what I mean? I don't know. This is getting a little emotional, but I just want you guys to love yourselves and also just take your situations. And I know I'm in a different situation than most people. And I know obviously people can look at me and be like, oh yeah, I bet you she has nothing to fucking worry about. But the battles I deal with are the battles I dealt with at 13, 14, 15, 16, when I didn't do any of this. And I just was living in my parents' house, going to school every day. On another note though, I want you guys to see my lineup of drinks we have here. So first we have a Duncan Coffee. Guys, I didn't think it would happen, but I am back on my Duncan wave. I was doing Starbucks for so long because where I live, I can walk to a Starbucks. So my normal go-to Starbucks drink would either be a grande blonde latte with almond milk, which is basically just blonde espresso and almond milk. And then I would get an extra shot of espresso and then I would do cinnamon. Very good. But then when I started getting them more and more, I realized how much milk they're putting in a latte, and the almond milk was just like getting to be too much. And I think it was making me bloat a lot. So I switched over to, what was I doing? a cappuccino because they use less milk and then they like steam the top with cinnamon. I have to have cinnamon. And if I'm doing hot coffee, have to have cinnamon. Then I started doing macchiatos, which was really good, but macchiatos are like small. Well, then I went to Dunkin' one day and I think I got an iced latte and I asked for an extra shot. And then I was just like, and then one vanilla, like one pump of vanilla, because I don't really do sugar in my coffee because it will make my stomach hurt and it'll make me have to go to the bathroom all day long. But I was like, you know what? Dunkin's coffee can sometimes taste like fucking sewer water. So we're going to do that. It was so good, y'all. So I went again. Then they put in like sugar-free vanilla. I hated it. And so recently I've been getting, the guy at the window told me to do this because he was like, you're getting a latte, but really you're paying more money. You should just get a macchiato. So I get a medium iced macchiato with almond milk. Sometimes I'll do an extra shot of espresso. Today I didn't. And then I get one French vanilla swirl. I don't know what's in the French vanilla swirl, but it's literally amazing. This is the best coffee ever. Like, it tastes like a sweet treat. And then I tried the same thing iced at Starbucks, but I didn't get vanilla because I don't like Starbucks vanilla, and it was nasty. I was like, ooh, I don't like that at all. I might go back to my ice shaken espresso at Starbucks though. I would get an ice shaken espresso with blonde shots, almond milk, an extra shot of espresso, and cinnamon. Anyways, that's my coffee talk for today. So here's our lineup. We have my coffee, and then we have my Stanley. Also, shout out Stanley because they sent me this like a year ago, and she's my pride and joy. It's like a brown and gold color. It's really cute. And then we have right here, I need to drink more of this, a little mug full of hot water and lemon. I DoorDashed a new, what's it called? Tea kettle, but it's not a tea kettle. I don't know, something that heats up your water for you. I DoorDashed a new one on Sunday morning because I felt like absolute garbage. It's just a cup of warm water and lemon. It's kind of nasty, but it's okay. If you're not feeling good, you guys should DoorDash or go get from the store, or have your mom get it for you or whoever. Throat coat tea. It is so good. And then get raw organic honey. I mean, that's what I got, but like you can get raw honey, organic honey. A lot of honey has a lot of sugar, so try and do like the more healthier ones. They all kind of taste the same, but the more healthier ones I think have like less sugar. And when you're sick, you don't want a lot of sugar. Squeeze that in your tea. So good. I could probably put it in my warm water, honestly, if I wanted to. Back to my weekend. Friday night, I wound up coming home. I slept all night. And then Saturday, I was debating on going out because I still felt a little bit like, but it wasn't the where I was like, I think I'm like really sick. I was just kind of like, I think I just don't feel great. And it was my last weekend here. All my friends were going out. So we all met up downtown. McKinley came over. We went to the downtown area of where I live. There's a speakeasy here. And it's so funny. Like, we went to the speakeasy. It wasn't that eventful. I was watching Mr. AI on TV. Let me just say this. If you guys have a guy in your life who you know isn't good for you, I get it because I enjoy the toxicness. Like, I do enjoy toxic men. I do. I don't enjoy it. I think it's just more entertaining for myself. And that's how this guy has been. Like, I'm just like, oh, it's so entertaining. Like, we literally go back and forth of like on and off, and it's entertaining to me. But then when I like actually cut it off and I get rid of it, I feel like my mind's refreshed. Like, I'm just like a new person. And that sounds so insane. But it's because when I'm talking to him, I'm like, this is what I'm doing. Like, why am I even doing this? And it's really not that deep, but I'm just like, why am I doing that? And then I stop, and then when I forget about it, I'm like, oh wait, life is like so awesome and beautiful, and like, why was I talking to him? So cut him off. Okay, that's your sign. Okay, next topic. Tate McRae, her new song and her new music video. If you're not a Tate McRae fan, that's all right, but I want you to go watch her new music video and listen to her new song and tell me what you think of it. I like it. Anything she does, I'll be proud of, and I'll stand up and applaud just because I stan her. But this music video, she's so hot. It makes me want to do like a sexy music video, even though like I would have no reason to do that. I want to, guys, I would never do like a porno. I wouldn't, but hear me out. Like, I want to do something like what Tate McRae does, just for myself to watch, because I just think she's so hot. And I'm like, I wish that was me. I'm reaching the TMI topics at the moment. Okay, so one girl said how to not go back to my bad ex that I somehow keep going back to. I just covered that, babe. I'm telling you, when you cut him off, you just feel like a new person. You feel like a better person. You feel rejuvenated, you feel revived. It's like in Fortnite when you die and then someone comes and revives you, and then all of a sudden you have a fucking chug jug and you're chugging that shit, throwing it back, and then you're just like full of health. That is literally what it feels like to cut off a toxic guy. It feels like your best friend got your fucking reboot card. They came and revived you, and then they had a chug jug. They just threw a chug jug to you. It feels like that, but when you're not playing Fortnite with your friend, when you're playing with a rando, you're playing duos with a rando and his mic's off, and you die. He gets your reboot card, comes over to you, revives you, then throws you a chug jug, and then maybe even on top of that, this guy's really toxic and you're cutting him off, he just hands you a purple scar. Is that what it's called? I haven't played Fortnite in so long, but that's what it feels like. Like it's like you have another life to live and a better one. So cut him off, okay? Just cut him off. Just know that. What happened to your YouTube? What do we mean? I posted my end of the year video, and then I'm working on the next vlog. TMI comes first this year. You're welcome. How to like make a situationship kind of work. Hear me out here, y'all. The situationship I was in, it's a fantasy world. You live in a fantasy world in your head. This guy's kind of a dick. This guy kind of sucks. This guy is definitely not living up to my standards. But if he did, this would be sick because it's a fantasy, but he's not. He's not the person I want him to be. And you don't want to change someone. I don't think girls are really supposed to go out and find their man. I think it's going to come to you. Like even me on Raya, like sometimes I'm on there and I'm just like, what am I doing? I'm not going to lie. I X like everyone. Like if you caught a heart from me on there and you're listening to this, first, I would really appreciate you not to listen to this. Second, you're one of like 7. I think just situationships that are kind of weird and rocky, it depends. If the guy's more into you than you're more into him, I think it can work. But if it's the opposite way around, it's probably not going to work, because if a guy wants you, you're going to know. Like you will know if a guy wants you. And if you're just like, I know, but like it's fun, that's fine. Live it out for a little bit, but then eventually just get rid of it, because it hurts their ego a little bit. And sometimes the toxic guy needs that, okay? If a guy's not putting in effort, it's because he genuinely doesn't give a fuck. It's because he doesn't fucking care. No, but like, why does he keep texting me? Oh, because it's actually so easy to move your thumbs. It's actually so easy to ChatGPT how to make a girl feel good in text. ChatGPT literally types it out for the guy. He copies it, pastes it by your name. That is, by the way, literally just your first name with no emoji. And maybe it has fucking parentheses that say only answer once a month, or maybe your name's actually fake in his phone because he has a girlfriend and that's why he's being weird with you. Sorry, I'm like really shitting on men right now, but I'm just saying, like, when a guy's confusing, don't deal with it. The quote, if it comes from God, it comes with confirmation, and if it's not from God, it comes with confusion, literally got me through my breakup, because the person was confusing me so much, and I was like, it's because he's confused. Like, no, if someone's not sure, it's because they don't want you, is the way that I view it. And when it comes with confirmation, you're not confused, it's good. It makes you feel good. You're not worried all the time. But when it's like confusing and like, like I'm not sure, he's not sure, it's because it's not meant for you, babe. Okay? I literally can't talk. I feel like a pig. Do you ever have thoughts about moving back in with your family? No. If my family were to move somewhere else, I would possibly want to move near them. But where they're at right now, I don't want to be. And I don't really want to eventually be there either. They kind of are just in like a random spot. I don't think it's permanent for them. And I think once Cooper graduates, which will be in like the next 3 years, they're probably going to move somewhere else. And I think then I would consider moving to be near them more. But my parents are kind of like me. Like, they are more spur of the moment people. They're not like, oh, our forever home is here, like, at all. And they're the type of people, like, they won't have their weekend plans until Thursday night at 8 p.m. Like, they're just very, and they'll probably change their mind the next day and want to go do something different. So that's probably where I get it from. It's weird because my older brother, not to get into like my family lore, but my older brother, he's in the minors. So he's constantly moving. Like, literally the person that bought my couch made a joke and was like, oh yeah, he's like a hobo. Like he doesn't have a home. And I was like, no, he like literally doesn't. He's always moving. And then for me, like, I guess this was kind of my home, but for 4 months. And then I'm moving to a place it's only 2 months. And then if I want to stay there, I'll stay there. But if I want to leave, I'll leave. So really, I don't really have a home either. I kind of just bounce around and go with whatever. And then my parents moved to Florida. They obviously have their place, but their goal is to see where all of us kids wind up and then have something that's easy for them to come to all of us. But I do miss my family a lot. How to get over a breakup when you ended on good terms. Please help me. Babe, unfortunately, I've never had that happen. Sorry, I wasn't gagging at the thought of it, but babe, that's a tough cookie because I think I was honestly a little bit blessed at the fact that everyone I was with ended bad. Well, I take that back. I think honestly, you just need time to get over it. Like, I think cutting them off for a little bit gives you time to heal and forget about it somewhat. The first guy I kind of liked, it ended on bad terms, but then I cut him off for a little. We both did, and we both found new people. And then it was just like civil. Like we both were like, that's in the past. We don't really care. You have to give yourself time. Give yourself a proper amount of time to get over it and to kind of heal from it. And whether he needs more time or you need more time, you have to both be respectful about that and like give the person their space. And then I think eventually it kind of just fizzles away. Am I being selfish for not spending as much time with my family for trying to figure out my life also? I don't have enough brain power for that one right now. I'm sorry. Dating people you work with. I'm not sure what you're asking. If I was like a nurse and there was a hot doctor, that's like my fantasy. Like that's like a dream and a half. If I was like a YouTuber and I wanted to date like someone in the industry, that's like my worst nightmare. Personally, I think it's really hard in entertainment to date other people in entertainment unless you're just like, we're raised the same exact way or something like that. And there can't be egos. You have to really trust the person. For me, working with people or dating people I work with, it's somewhat a no-go. But depending on your job, I think it can be fun. Okay, and then lastly, someone just said penis size. Personally, I think it depends more on the motion of the ocean, but that's just me. And I also am not the person to ask because I'm Miss Celibate at the moment. Anyways, guys, more of a mini episode today. I apologize, I'm sick. And hopefully next week we will have more to speak about. I'll be in a new place. I'll be in a new state. The Sunshine State. I'm so excited to be back. And I'm super grateful for all of you. I hope you all have a really good week and try and be positive. If you're open to it or if you do have a relationship with God, lean on God a little bit. Download the #Bible app. This is not sponsored. I'm just telling you, go get Jesus Calling. I'll actually link Jesus Calling, a link to buy the book down below. And you should buy it. You should totally get it. Or you can look it up online. It's really easy. Everything's online these days. But yeah, I love you guys. Cheers. If any of you guys are sick, I hope you feel better. And I hope you guys have an amazing, awesome, blessed week. I love you so much. And yeah, I'll see you in a different place next Tuesday. Bye.